Okay, Shalom. Praise Yahweh in the name of his son, Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Enslaved in the job and conquered and enslaved in the Americas also. Before trade. This is the 6-day Aliyah. Portion. Vayishlach. Vayishlach. Genesis chapter 35, verse 12. To Genesis 36 and 19. Remember that December 6th begins the next new moon, which is a holy day. And remember that April 18th at 19th at night is the first day of Passover. And April 24th at night to April 25th at night is the 7th day of Passover, which is the last day. So, okay. So, we're reading the 6th Aliyah. And my reader is Araya Sha'an, I'm the Tash Ban Parashah. This is chapter 35, verse 12. Now we're dealing with death in this chapter. And also we're dealing with Esau, the Edomites in this chapter. Okay, let's go.
And the land that I gave to Abraham and to Isaac, I will give to your seed after you. Will I give the land? And I led him in the place where he had spoken with him. Now Jacob had erected a monument in the place where he had spoken with him, a stone monument, and he poured a libation upon it.
Which is libation, like a drink offering or liquid offering. Go ahead.
And then he poured oil upon it. Jacob named the place where Elohim had spoken with him Bethel. And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was still some distance to come to Ephrath. And Rachel gave birth, and her labor was difficult. And she had such difficulty giving birth, said to her, "Do not be too is a son for you." And it came to pass when their soul departed, for she died, that she named him Ben.
So now we see there at Bethel, and then it left from Bethel. All right. And then they still are a ways away from a place called Ephrath. So now she's about to have a baby. Okay. Now, I remember now that Deborah died. Remember, Deborah was to Rebecca, so she knew about birth. She knew about all these different things. So that's one major righteous asset, backbone in the household, which is Deborah. She was asset to the household. She died. So now there's another midwife in charge of bringing forth this baby. Okay. Now, after the baby died, okay, go ahead.
When her soul departed, for she died, that she named him
Ben Oni, which is like son of my sorrow, which is Ban Awanya. Go ahead.
But his father called him Benjamin,
Which is Ban, which means son of my right. Because Rachel was such a strength and support into him. Go ahead.
So she was buried on the road to which is Bethlehem.
Okay, so let's take 7 for our mother Rachel. Okay, so she died on the way going to Bethlehem, between Bethel and Bethlehem. She died, right? So now Jacob he's just crushed now, because this was his probably his favorite person in the whole world. She just died, giving birth to his son. Now, and he's sad. He's probably in shock. I mean, this is he worked for. He's trying his wife, working for 14 years of life for one, deliberately working to be his wife. She's getting older now. She had children. Now she has her second son. She dies. Go ahead.
And Jacob erected a monument on her grave, that is the tombstone of Rachel, until this day.
Mm-hmm.
Israel journeyed, and he pitched his tent at some distance past the Tower of Eder.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass that when Israel sojourned in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah.
Now remember, Bilhah is Rachel's handmaid. Lay with Bilhah meaning he went and what was it? Okay, go ahead.
His father's concubine. Israel heard of it, and so the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun.
Okay, so these are the 6 sons. Go ahead.
The sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's maidservant, Dan and Naphtali.
Mm-hmm.
The sons of Zilpah, Leah's maidservant, Gad and Asher.
Okay, so Reuben is those brothers indigenous to Florida. Simeon are those brothers that are indigenous and came on slave ships to Dominican Republic. Levi, island of Haiti. Judah, Issachar, Mexico. Zebulun, from the southeastern part of Mexico, right by the isthmus in Mexico, Panama. Joseph is Ephraim and Manasseh, which is Benjamin are the people that came to the West Indies Islands, Jamaica, all right, Barbados, all the way up until Bermuda, Bahamas, on cargo slave ships. And then you have Dan, which is the Arawak, okay, the indigenous Indians of mainly of the Eastern Caribbean, as well as the Garifuna, Black and Red Caribs, and Naphtali in South America, in Argentina and Chile, and Gad, so-called North American Indians, and Asher in South America. Some of them live in Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, and then going back further east, you went into Venezuela, Colombia, and then you go into Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Brazil, Uruguay, and Paraguay. That's the tribe of Asher. Now, when you go into the northern part of the Guyana areas, Guyana, French Guyana, and Suriname, which used to be called Dutch Guyana, that's when you run into brothers from the tribe of also. Some of the Galibi are tribe of Dan. Benjamites there also that came on slave ships. So you have like 3 tribes in the Guyanas over there. You have Benjamin, Dan, and Asher. Okay, go ahead.
These are Jacob's sons who were born to him in Padan Aram. And Jacob came to his father Isaac to Mamre, Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac dwelt, were 180
Mm-hmm.
and Isaac expired and died.
So Isaac was very old when he died, 180 years old. So imagine the knowledge, the understanding, the experience that he was conveying unto his children, his grandchildren, to his servants, his soldiers. So Isaac, so these lifetimes were filled with wisdom and knowledge and experience and understanding. So probably sat around inside his tent, at the door of his tent, talking to his grandchildren, talking to the grandchildren of his servants, telling them about his experiences, talking to them about the Torah, about the Hebrew, telling the stories that he heard from his father, that his father heard from Seth and from Shem and from Noah. Because remember, Seth, Shem, and Noah were all alive they didn't die. So Noah was alive when Abraham was alive. Did y'all realize that? Yeah, she knew. This one big old family, man. A lot of times we read about Isaac, we think, oh, Abraham's dead. We read about Jacob, oh, Isaac dead. We read about Judah, oh, Jacob is dead. But a lot of times these people are still living. Of the history jumps to the next character that's going to be instrumental, active in the story that the Most High wants to convey to us. So Isaac was 100 years old. Okay. Which means now, if Isaac was 180 years old when he died, when Isaac was about Abraham lived 100, right? Okay. So we'll some other time. Now let's continue.
And Isaac expired and died and was gathered into his peoples. And it
said it was dead, meaning he was very filled. Okay. So if Abraham was 117 years, conveyed to me, 175 years old when he died, and that means that Isaac was 80 years old, right? Isaac was 75 years old when Abraham died. Abraham was 100, right? 75 years old when his father dies. Married when he was 40 years old, right? Which means that Abraham was 140. right? So now he got Rebecca when Jacob married. Abraham was still around. So these are intergenerational right here. Okay.
And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him.
So Esau, the so-called Europeans, father of to America in slavery, and the original peoples, as well as the people that were brought into captivity in other parts of the world in Africa. So it came together and buried. Now remember, Jacob, he was going to come down to Seir, but he never did. Kala Sharad the body. How Shower Nashamai said, and here, chapter 36. Start from verse 1. All right, go ahead.
And the generations of Esau, that is, Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan.
So Esau, it says Ha Toldot, the Ladwath, Aishawa, Halam. Esau, he is red. Esau, Edom. Okay. Oh, Asherah. It just says Hawa'ah is red. The red man. Totally different complexion than his brother Jacob. The father. And I mean, you can say it's the Arabs, and I can even try to follow your logic, but the Arabs are not for being a red people. So-called white man is the only people on the planet Earth that are red. Oh, but it was actually of East Indian ancestors that started teaching that the white man wasn't Esau, but that you know that white man wasn't Esau back in the maybe like 2009 something period. Before that, nobody was really teaching. Gentile that actually brought that. Stop believing in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, being brown, and that the so-called America he primarily focused on, chosen to be Israel. But then you saw the white man was. This is a fairly new doctrine that just came up. I mean, taught before. Well, that's a new doctrine that the white man is not Esau. That wasn't taught. It was a Gentile that introduced that. And if you have a point that you think is true, if you haven't truly been living in the Torah, source of scriptures that you think, but guess what? Hell is full of a lot of people. The lake of fire is going to be filled with a lot of people that thought that they were right. many good things. We cast out demons in your name. Me, workers that knew you. Right. So the point is that if you haven't really turned from your sin, how much out.
Esau, no, Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan, Adah, the daughter of Elon.
Remember, Adah was also the descendant of Cain. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
The Hittite, and Aholibamah, daughter of Anah, daughter of Hev.
He married women of Canaan too. Okay, he married women of Canaan that the Most High said that we're not supposed to be marrying these women. And again, you don't have to, the Torah is that you don't have to agree, not say from the Torah, from the Torah. It's okay if you don't agree with me. It's okay. But I don't have a monolithic way of looking at things. I look at big things, gears. They're not isolated, so the pieces have fit together. And I want you to really remember also, a lot of you brothers and sisters, you've been studying 20 years, 15 years in this walk, looking at a Hebrew living, the laws of our people. And I've only been doing this since January of 1994. Time. Since January of 1994, changed any of my understandings hold of it until I saw it in Torah and then substantiate. Now, today in South that were under the system of apartheid, part of Canaan being a servant of this listed in Genesis. One should serve the younger, which was Esau in Genesis chapter 25. And then the other was Canaan, when it said that Canaan was going to servants. Mentioned was Canaan. And the second servant mentioned was Esau. The oldest were going to serve the younger. So when we go into South Africa, that's exactly what we see. Hundreds of years, the Africans in South Africa, slavery per se, but we're in a high level of Jim Crow, cultural oppression. F.W. de Klerk, all right, the all these names each other. So the Canaanites today brought up Africa. That's who the Canaanites are now. And I'm basing that on what does the prophecy say about Esau. Oh yeah, the so-called white man, the Americans are everybody. White man's been in, West Africa since the 1400s, South America, Australia, you don't have the whole population white skin because he's there. Too much. So we're dealing with the generation of Esau, which in itself means it deals with him. Let's keep reading.
And Aholibamah, daughter of Anah, daughter of also Basemath, daughter of Ishmael.
So now he married Basemath,
sister of Nebaioth.
Mm-hmm.
Adad bore Eliphaz to Esau, and Basemath bore Ruel.
We're going to see that Eliphaz is actually the father of Amalek. And Amalek, when we go into the book of Numbers, either the nations. It's what the prophecy says. The first of the nation, meaning he's at the, we know he wasn't the first nation to be created. Israel was, and Esau was the next to the last nation multiplied. So it says that Eliphaz's son, which is going to be Amalek, they said that he was the head of the nations. It says that until the last days, in the last days, and perish. Now, when you talk about the Illuminati and the Trilateral Commissions, the Council of Foreign Relations, the Behemoth Grove in California, when you talk about the Switzerland being neutral, you think about the UN, you think about governing and policing the world. You don't think about the Arabs. You think about the so-called white man, so-called Europeans. Amalek is the head of the nations. That's going into one of the tribes of the soul. Is running the governments, running the economies, running the politics of the world. Got a lot of oil, but they don't have the weapons to defend themselves. They don't have bases all over the world. Hardcore allies. Because everybody else, you can get oil from other people. You can get it from Venezuela if you like that. You can get it from Nigeria. You can get it from Trinidad. You can get it from Kuwait, Arabia, and all these other countries over there have oil, but other parts of the world have oil too. So if you can't defend your resources like the so-called white man, if you can have military bases all over the world like the so-called white man does, if you can't do all of these things, you're not Esau. Because the Bible says that Esau is going to control the sword, and he's going to live off the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. You go to any place on the planet Earth, you don't see Arabs. You don't see everybody speaking Arabic, English, and French, and Spanish. Even the Arab themselves, and French, and Spanish. Yeah, by Morocco. Spain has a city in Morocco. In Morocco. The U.S. has military bases in almost on every part of the Middle East. Not the Arabs. So, you know, I'm not going to disrespect them. I don't see how you can say the so-called white man is Esau. The history is just not there. You have from the 1st century A.D. of the Bar Kokhba rebellion. that was crushed in 135 AD. Is writing from that time period saying that Rome is Esau. You have our people ever saying that they are Esau, that a Gentile introduced recently. Okay, so Ada bore Esau. Go ahead.
And Basemath bore Ruel.
Mm-hmm.
Aholibamah bore Jeush and Jalam and Korah.
Mm-hmm.
These are the sons of him in the land of Canaan.
So Esau was having children in the land of Canaan. Go ahead.
Wives, his sons, and his daughters of his household, and his cattle, and all his property that he had acquired in the land of Canaan. And he went to another land because of his brother, for their possessions were too numerous for them, and the land of their sojournings could not support them because of their livestock.
All right, so they went, and he went to another land.
So Esau
dwelt in Mount Seir.
That is Edom.
Esau is Edom. When you go in Mount Seir, okay. All right, why do you go to Mount Seir? Why do you go to the mountains? Okay, the east mountains, because he wants the high habitation. He wants to fly high like the eagle. That's why I had songs like the eagle and Rocky Mountain High, his spaceship, the eagle, government offices and his coins and his dollar bill. So he saw dwell in Mount Seir, the Trans-Pyrenees Mountains. Then he went to the Swiss Alps. He always wants Mount Everest. Went to the Appalachian Mountains, the Rocky Mountains. Every place finds himself. If the mountains won't come to me, I'm gonna build mountains right here. And he called those skyscrapers. We live in looks like Mount Seir. Tall stone buildings that are set on high. And they call it the penthouse. Okay. Go ahead.
And these are the generations of Esau, the progenitor of Edom, on Mount Seir.
So these are the generations of Esau. Wa'alha, the Ladwath, Aishawa, Abaya, Adawam, Bahar, Sha'ayar, father of Edom, the Edomites. And notice that Edom is listed. And this is a very interesting point. You see, Edom, the father of Edom. Edom is always recognized in the singular. Jacob in a singular. You say Arabs. You say Chinese. Okay. You say African. But when it comes to us, they say Indian. Or going into Judah, you say it's black. And then you say white, singular, but talk. All right. Now let's look at these descendants that Esau had. Go ahead.
These are the names of.
And slow down, read a little slower.
Esau's sons: Eliphaz, son of the wife of Esau; Reuel, son of Basemath, the wife of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz were Temana, Omar, Zepho, Batam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was a concubine to Eliphaz, son of Esau, and she bore to Eliphaz Amalek. These are the sons of Adah, the wife of Esau. And these are the sons of Ruel, Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the sons of Basemath, the wife of Esau. And these are the sons of Aholibamah, daughter of Zibeon, the wife of Esau. She bore to Esau Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These became the chieftains of the sons of Esau.
Man, in English it says duke. When it says chieftain, in other Bibles it says these became the dukes. But let's back up to verse 12 real quick. Here we go right here, Amalek. Look up Amalek and look at what does the prophecy say about Amalek. What does about Amalek? And you'll see that Amalek is none other than the power structure of the world that's controlling the resources, the people, the governments of the world. Okay. Now, in the if you were to look up Rome, the Encyclopedia Judaica, you will see that Rome is referred to in rabbinical literature by various designations: Edom and Esau, to the pig. If you were to look up Rome in the Cambridge History of Judaism, you would Edom, Rome, for example, on prohibits murder, the more than that the blessing of Esau had declared that he would live by the sword. If you were to look up Rome in the Blackwell Reader in Judaism, it's the importance of Isaac in particular derived relationship. The two nations engaged in struggle. Jacob, who was in Israel, and Esau stood for Rome. Sources. If you were to look in Jewish heritage book, you would see that Esau, a man of the sword, father to a mighty Nam, the Roman Empire. If you were to look in Rome, origin of modern, you would see that it says that Edomites, they were a red, hairy people from Edom, Idumea, in southeast Palestine. They traditionally hated the Israelites descended from Jacob with dark skin. If you were to look again in the Encyclopedia Judaica and look up Amalek, for example, you will see that thus the Tanaitic Agada of the 1st century CE identifies Amalek with Rome. Now, this is coming from the 1st century AD, which means in the time of the Messiah, the people called Amalek the same thing. Okay? if you were to go to the dictionary of Judaism in the biblical period and look up Edom, it would tell you that Edom is compared to a pig and an eagle, as is Rome and Edom, Seir, and Esau are all symbols for Rome. If you were to go to the Encyclopedia Judaica and looked up the word Edom, you would see the similarity of Edom compared to a pig with Rome. For whom now, do you think it's a coincidence that our people in America, once again, when Rome was oppressing Israel in our land, our people called the Roman Empire pigs? Filthy animal that would go through anything it needs to go through in order to satisfy its desire and lust. It would eat corpse. It would eat its own young. It would eat through mud. It will eat through anything so it can be satisfied. And is that in the early to mid 19th century and 20th century, in the 1900s, that the same people, chosen America, began to refer to the oppressive system specifically targeted at the police as what? As pigs. That the people that we call pigs drug us into a courtroom that had an eagle flag. And was struggling inside room have been each other since the time of the Greek Empire, then under the Romans, then the Spanish, then the French, then the Russian, are the Arabs in the struggle with black people, with Hispanic people. You know where they are? Absent. Esau and Jacob. Jacob got to be around each other. So it's the so-called white man, so-called indigenous and black man. The word Edom in the Judaism, it would tell you that the name Edom is Talmudic for the Roman, and they apply to Rome every passage of the Bible referring to Edom and Esau. The name Edom and the same was used by the poets in the Middle Ages. Okay. So now we see that even though we don't, we look to the Talmud authoritative conclusions in the Torah, has some agreeable things written in it, and it has some very, very extremely disagreeable things written in it. If you were to go into precise companion to the Jewish religion, you would see that it says of Edom in the later rabbinic period, Edom is identified with Rome. So Edom, Rome, in Jewish literature, with the so-called. If you go into the Encyclopedia Judaica and you look up again, it tells you The identification appears first apparently in the Agada in the Bar Kokhba War from 132 to 135 CE. It has been taught, Judah ben Eli said, my teacher Baruch, or blessed be he, used to say, the voice is the voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. The voice of Jacob cries out at what the hand of Esau did to him, which also I think is called Besura, was a terrible massacre that took place in the land of Israel by the Roman government. Okay. If you were to go into the dictionary of Jewish lore and legend and look up Esau, it would say, let not Jacob eat in the cave of Machpelah, came to symbolize cruel Roman. If you looked in the Oxford Dictionary of the Jewish religion and looked up Esau, it tells you once again, Esau married 2 Hittite women. We just read that. And led of Ishmael. We just read that. All right, we just read that. The name Esau or Edom is used as an eponym Rome. So here we have rabbis depict Esau, the epitome of wildness and Roman Empire, the white European Roman Empire, as Esau, as Edom. Why? It's his power. The Arabs never had no power over the world. They had different sections of the world. They had different sections. Okay. In the German Agada, they show Esau dwelling in Mount Seir, head of an eagle. All right. And that's in the 13th to 14th century German Agada, which is from the Dictionary of Jewish Lore and Legend. You see? So all these references we have to Esau, Amalek, and Rome, you will not find any biblical and historical evidence which tie together conclusion that the so-called Arabs are the children of Esau. The only thing people can do is pull up pictures of people with red hair and say, oh, this is Esau. But the people who you call European are not a Japhetic people. The people who you call European are the children of Esau, the Edomites from the Bible. Okay? And Amalek right here, Amalek is the so-called white man that controls the earth. Now, some people say it's the so-called white man that calls himself, but it's only particular families of so-called Jewish people, okay, that are not really practicing the Torah, so to speak, like the Spielbergs and the Rothschild, that those high levels that control the music industry, that control the media, TV, movies. Okay, that's Amalek. As well as when you go into the prophecies, Alexander the Greek had to be a descendant of Amalek. Now, some of Zepho's people did go up to Italy. But Amalek, according to the prophecy, are those people that are in major positions of at the top. Okay. Now it says, what verse we in now? Almost finished now. Go ahead.
These became the chieftains of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz.
Now that word alwapyam is like alap, which means an ox or strength, or like a duke, powerful lop. Okay, which is an ox. So it's a powerful, strong, resourceful leader. Yeah, like special ops. Okay, like the Navy SEALs, like the Marines, like the Rangers. Powerful, strong leaders and resourceful. The Arabs and the field of Esau. It's only a lot of our people's pride back down and say, hey, you know what? You're right. But once again, I always tell people, let's make our case from the Torah. And let's take the Torah, now let's show in the modern world, or let's go into another book to explain something that we see in the Torah. And a lot of times people don't want to do that. It's either just to post a meme or to post one thought. But I've taken the time to actually go into the Torah and read the Torah and show you references from, and then go into other historical references, other geographic references, okay, other even health references. When we went into some things from the Health and Human Services about the tribes and health and things like that. But the foundation is the Torah. All right. So these are the chieftains, which are the powerful leaders of the sons of Esau.
Esau's firstborn, Chief Taman, Chief Omar, Chief Zepho, Chief Kenaz, Chief Korah, Chief Gatam, Chief Amalek, these Eliphaz in the land of Edom, Vadah.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the sons of Ruel, the son of Esau, Chief Zerah, Chief Shammah, and Chief Mizah. These are the chieftains of Ruel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Basemath, the wife of Esau. And these are the sons of Aholibamah, the wife of Esau.
The wife of Esau. Go ahead.
Chief Jeush, Chief Jalam, Chief Korah. These are the chieftains.
You rushing through. These are
the chieftains of Aholibamah, daughter of Anah.
Mm-hmm.
These are the sons of Esau, and these are their chieftains. He is Edom.
All right, so Edom keeps telling you Edom, chieftains, okay? Chieftains. They have two main places on the earth where they still have chiefs and kings. The Middle East and Europe. Now you put both of these on the battlefield and see who's going to come out the victor. You want to see who's the master of the sword? Because Esau can't be the master of the sword and living by the sword if somebody else can come with a sword and kick his behind, right? It's like me putting a prophecy on my son saying, you're going to live by the sword. And then somebody from the desert come and just chop him all up to pieces. I guess my blessing wasn't that powerful. Just look at the real world. When a so-called white man went into Israel, nobody wanted him there. He's there now. Wanted to help, he's there now. The so-called white man went into Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, wanting the oil. He's there now. The Arabs never conquered no square inch of Europe. Esau got that sword on every continent. The so-called white man is ruling with the sword on every continent. That's how you know who is Esau ruling with that sword. The blessing that we see put on him from his father, Isaac. On the battlefield, what nation is going to come out the victor? Because there's two people saying it there. We got two people being called Esau, so-called white man, so-called Arabs. But which one live by the sword? Which one live on the high mountains of the earth? Which one is on every continent, dwelling and vacationing everywhere? The Arabs said, I don't want to go on vacation any place. I will make tall buildings here. They made their own islands. They ain't going nowhere. They made their own islands, all right, off of the Persian Gulf. They made their own islands over there on Bahrain, Dubai, and them, that area. They made their own islands. Brought in dirt, engineers, sand. They made an island. That ain't the fatness of the earth. The fatness of the earth is the Amazon, Jamaica. All right. The fat of the earth is Hawaii. The fat of the earth is Trinidad. With all the fruit, the resources, the wildlife, the birds, the beautiful water. That's the fat of the earth. Well, let's talk about the oil. Okay, well, who controls the oil? Lords, and is in power. See, the Arabs might get a little bit of points in some of the categories, but across the board, white man fits everything that the Bible says about the children of Edom, Esau, and that's who he is, so-called white man. And we are the children of Israel, Jacob. Now, in India, I saw some of our CD brothers that looked like some Haitians I knew. I saw some that looked like some Judah that I knew, like people from the tribe of Asher that I know. I saw some that, kind of reflected on Dan. Because there was a Portuguese that down into Brazil, and that's the tribe of Asher. And the same Portuguese brought slaves over into India. The British to the West Indian island, Benjamin. And guess what? They brought slaves over across the waters into India. So you had Portuguese, and the British. Now, the British are also the ones that kind of started that trade with Judah. But there were people that looked exactly like so-called Black Americans that were over there that I met in India. Now, remember the slave trade over there with our people going in slavery under the Hamite Africans, and that started 600s, man. 600s. Okay. So you have all these tribes even living in India right now. Levi, Judah. Okay. You have Benjamites over there. You have Asher. And some of the people are experts with the water, experts at making ships, experts at making boats, linking them up with the tribe of Dan. Okay. You have over there that I've talked to and seen with my own eyes. All right. So once again, Simeon and Levi is Dominican Republic and Haiti. Judah and Issachar is North America, United States of America, then south going into Mexico, going into Central Mexico, Central America, Zebulon. And then Joseph and Benjamin. What do you have there? You got Joseph, which is Cuba. And then just under Cuba, what do you have? What island under Cuba? Jamaica. You got Puerto Rico, Joseph. And then what do you have beside Puerto Rico? Virgin Islands, right there. And down in the Caribbean and also in Central America, you got Naphtali, which is Argentina and Chile. And then we come to Gad, which is North America, the North American Indians. Tribe of Asher, tribe of Israel. Then we go all the way to the bottom of America. And that 4 different women. Leah, Rachel. All right, then Rachel's handmaid was Bilhah. And then Leah's handmaid was Zilpah. So you got R&B right here. R&B, Rachel, Bilhah. Jacob had, let's see, Leah 1, 2, and Bilhah 3, and Zilpah 4. So that's 4 women. These are all the sons of Jacob. So Jacob in the Bible, called Israel in the Bible, he was one man that had 1, 2, 3, 4 wives, and had 1, 2, 3, 4 women. And these 4 women became the mothers and the father of the what? Of the 12. See that? Of the 12 tribes of Israel. So our father Jacob was a righteous player for all intents and purposes. And when you go into India, Africa, to Asia, you go into South America, Central America, the Caribbean, practice openly or discreetly. Part of society. To North America, that says no. We want men to marry men and women. We don't want a man to have more than one wife. I want the right to marry another man, than for two women to be married to one man. That's what America says. Because America's government is wicked, totally against the Bible. They swear you in on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God. I do. Then they throw the Bible in and they go into their code system. They don't judge you out. Why? Because if they judge you out the Bible, they have to condemn themselves. They would have to be seen as a major hypocrite. Five women. I'm sorry, we come from 4 women. Technically, let's say 5 because Joseph had his wife Asenath, which was an African woman in Egypt. So a lot of you Puerto Ricans and Ephraimites, Cubans out there, out Africa, and married the Canaanites and all of that. Well, bro, your mom is African. Your mom. So you want to get color struck? Get color struck on that. You don't have to imagine, bro. Joseph married Egyptian women, an Egyptian woman. And Judah, we know Judah slept with Tamar, had sex with the Canaanite woman, Tamar. All right, and that's who the tribe of Judah comes through. Black Americans and Joseph, Cubans and Puerto Ricans, was a Hamite. You want to, so even one of y'all got nothing to say about no Canaanites, because both of y'all mother was a Hamite. Judah's mother was a Hamite. Well, Judah's wife had Judah's baby mother, and that's a scandalous story right there. Judah's baby mother was a Hamite, and Joseph's wife was a Hamite. So now what can you say? Okay. 4 women. And our father dealt with our 4 mothers righteously. And those are the women of the 12 tribes of Israel. So Isaac, he died. Let's take it back into the silence for Isaac. Okay, hallelujah. So these are our real fathers, man. And these people actually lived. And we come from there. We are, when we read about Isaac, we are still in his loins. The sperm that's in Isaac's body was passed to Jacob. We're in there. We're in there. It's like the scripture says that the loins of Abraham, when Abraham gave the tights to, you see, together that 10% of what he had. So what we looking at is our family tree. What did our ancestors do? What did they have? What trials did they go through? All right, so right here, this is your history book. And that's why it's so important for you to look at the Bible, Torah, to look at the Torah, and to actually reading, and to learn how to live lifestyle that we see in this book. Do. Because we don't have to learn the ways of the heathen and live like they live any longer. We have our own history and culture doing things. All right. So with that, closer to the Messiah being born, with each job we get closer to the birth. Okay. Right here, going into the 12 that the 12 disciples. Okay. We got closer. And this whole hit about is going to come to a culmination at the birth of Hamashiach, the Messiah, from the not Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Gad, or Asher, but tribe of Judah, which are those people that were brought into. Okay, so that's it for tonight. The next new moon from December 6th to December 7th from fall. And the next, the Passover, the next biblical sanctioned Hoa. We know Hanukkah's coming up, but it's going to be Passover is going to be April 18th. And remember that when you celebrate Hanukkah, you cannot cook on the Sabbath day because Hanukkah is not a holy day from the Lord Yahweh. Hanukkah is a holy day that we decided we were going to do to show appreciation for Yahweh letting us get back our temple from the Greeks for Hanukkah celebration. But it's not a holy day from Yahweh from Leviticus chapter 23. So we cannot cook on the Passover during the feast of Hanukkah, during the celebration of Hanukkah. Okay? Hanukkah starts on Friday night. November 30th. Friday night. But you have to have all your cooking done. Your cooking has to be finished before the Sabbath starts. And after the Sabbath starts, you got to have the stove off. You can't cook. Stove has to be off. All right? Oven got to be off. Okay? Now, when it's Zen, and then you find yourself on Saturday morning and it's still Hanukkah, guess what? Still can't cook. You better have yourself something already figured out that you're going to eat, food that you have to cook for Hanukkah. Okay? All right, so that's it. So those are the holy days. That's the new moon. We got Hanukkah coming up, new moon, and you have Passover. Are there any questions from anyone? Any questions? All right, shalom and peace and shout out to all of our people on here representing Nigeria, representing Harlem, Angola, okay, representing India, Karnataka, Goa, all right, Yahweh, in the name of his son Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Repent of your sins is the only way to get salvation through a Torah of Yahweh, the laws and the commandments of Yahweh, in the name of his son Yahweh Shai, Savior unto Asherallah, which are the people that were indigenous into the Americas in slavery in these last days. All right, so all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalom Lakam.